Okay, this episode is titled Chupacabra, and it's titled that because looking for Sophia is like looking for a Chupacabra. There we go. There's the significance of that title. So we start out with a flashback to Shane and Lori seeing the military bomb the city of Atlanta. Now, again, I have to think personally, I don't think the government probably would, but I don't think military personnel would do this because they believe Marines and Army men and Navies and that they're there to protect and serve the citizens of the United States of America. So even in a post-apocalyptic world like this and something like this is happening, I can't believe that the Air Force or any people would do this against their own people. I believe the government would, but I don't think that the military personnel that's working that believe that they're there to preserve and protect our people would do it. I don't think they would, but nonetheless, for the show factor, they do it. And this is why I don't like. Okay, we see the same thing that we saw in episode 1 of Fear the Walking Dead. We got back to this. So right now, when they're bombing Fear the Walking Dead in season 2, episode 1, where they're bombing Los Angeles or wherever the hell they are, this is when Shane and Lori are in the highway stuck with everybody, with Carol and her and Sophia and Carl and Ed. This is the same time, so that's interesting to see perspective. But besides that, let me get into this Fear the Walking Dead thing for a little second here. This is why this show is. I'm going to explain why this show to me is shit. I tweeted recently like, oh, it took 9 episodes for me to finally like the fake Johnny Depp. Okay, yes, 9 episodes for me to like his character and like the show. I tweeted that out in a different account. And okay, fine. But then when the show ended, it got me right back to where I was in all the other shows. They are not likable characters. And this episode, there's so many reasons why this episode proves how these characters are likable and those characters are not likable at all. Because we have Shane going we have Rick going out there and Daryl. Daryl's still going out there looking for her, looking for Sophia because it means something to him. And Rick, because it means something to him. Because it's not a lost cause. And Shane is talking shit. And he's like, oh man, we're out here looking, it takes 72 hours in the real world as police officers for us to find a kidnapped victim. And look at now. Now it's the post-apocalyptic world. She's gone. We should just give up. We should just give up. We should just give up and just call it a day and be like, we're wasting time. We're wasting manpower. We're wasting all these things. We're wasting everything just to look for this little girl. She's dead. And Rick's like, I gave her my word that she would be safe. I have to continue to look for her because he feels like he owes Carol something. He's like, look, I told her, stay here, do this. It's not my fault she didn't stay here and do this, but I told her to, and she relied on my guidance, and I have to do this. And Herschel's a fucking asshole. Herschel's an asshole because he knows he found a little girl. I mean, that's in another episode, I think. I don't think that's in this episode. But it's just like, what the fuck? So Shane's a dickhead. Daryl is out there looking on a horse. And there was also a scene where one of these green people, he wasn't a green, but he was a friend or a boyfriend. I think he was Beth's boyfriend at the time when it happened. And she really didn't like him that much. So we see that he lied and said that Herschel said it was okay for him to go out there with a gun and look for whatever. So he was a liar, and also I guess they kind of lied that Daryl went out there with permission with the horse. So Daryl just took a horse to go look for Sophia, and then he collapsed. He falls. The horse sees a snake. He falls off the fucking horse, and he falls down a ditch, and then he lands on his fucking arrow. And he tries to climb it up. He falls back again, and he hallucinates that he sees Merle. And Merle has a conversation with him. And it's an interesting conversation. It's just like, I don't know. I like Michael Rooker. I've liked him since Henry, A Portrait of a Serial Killer. I've liked him since then. And I saw that movie when I was really young. I saw that and Strangeland and all these horror movies. I'm a horror aficionado, I guess you would say, or a horror fan. And so I was excited when Michael Rooker was in this. And in this episode, I was excited to see him return, finally. To see, even if it wasn't the real Merle, to see an image of Merle. And the banter back and forth. And I was also a fan of Boondock Saints, the first one. Till this day, I have not seen the sequel. So after Daryl's hallucinations, he ends up back on the farm, and Andrea, however you say it, thinks that he's a walker and shoots him. But it's okay, he lives. And Shane's an asshole, continues to be an asshole. And Herschel's an asshole this episode too. He's kind of like, oh, I don't want you to get close to them. I don't want you to like that Asian boy. I don't like you to like anything. I'm Herschel Green. He's such a good actor and such a nice. He played it so different in the comic. Really, like he was an asshole in this episode, but he didn't. But he doesn't come off as an asshole. And that's why he lasted longer than. Well, Dale was reasons because of Frank Darabont. That's why Dale left. That's honestly why he left. He was committed to Frank Darabont without a reasonable doubt. He loves him. He admires him. I mean, come on. Jeffrey DeMunn was like how old when he was cast in Shawshank Redemption? You know? That's like the biggest thing, in my opinion. I don't know, his credit-wise, how big it was. But that's like the biggest thing he was cast in. So, yeah, and he was cast in The Green Mile after that. And like, so he really likes Darabont, and he's a good friend. So, okay, I grant that. But whatever. Shane's an asshole. And I know I said, like, I still kind of liked him when originally when I watched this series, I still liked him all the way till the end. But rewatching it, yes, the writers did a good job. And at that point, when he killed Otis, he became a different character. He was more ruthless and aggressive and nasty. And he's like, only thing I care about in this world is Carl and you, Lori. I don't care about anything else. Whatever. And they have dinner. Great. After dinner, Glenn, for some reason, goes to the barn to check it out, and he finds that there's a bunch of walkers in there, and Maggie's like, you weren't supposed to see this, and the episode ends. To be honest, this is not an interlude bullshit episode, even though it is a bunch of bullshit that happens in it. It's just like, if you watch it, you're like, oh, this is whatever. But if you really watch it and grasp what's going on character-wise, development of the story and everything, this is not a bad episode. I'm having to say, like, I'm enjoying this season more now than I did the first time I saw it, and I'm enjoying it. Let's see how we get to season 3, because season 3 is probably, in my opinion, the ending was the terrible part. In season 4, the first half was horrible. So let's see how we get to those seasons, okay? How I feel about those seasons. But right now, this season so far, I can't complain about any episode really badly and say like this is a garbage episode. I did say one episode was like an interlude, but so far, pretty good stuff. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down below. I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace!